Are you an optimist, a pessimist, or somewhere in between? What if I told you that optimism isn't something you're born with? It's a habit that you can build. Life isn't always easy, but two qualities have carried me through challenging times in my life, time and time again: optimism and gratitude. What is optimism? It's the belief that the future holds possibilities, that even when things are difficult, something good can still happen. And then what is gratitude? Gratitude is the practice of recognizing and appreciating the good in our lives, no matter how big or how small. Together, optimism and gratitude have shaped how I face the world. And today, I'd like to share with you how it's helped me and how those qualities can help you too. In this episode, I'll share how optimism and gratitude have carried me through life's ups and downs. And there have been many of those. And how you can cultivate more of both in your life. How do you start your day? Do you start it worrying or thinking that you're going to have a good day? The choice is yours. It's all what you have in your mind that sets the tone for your day. One of the things I found over the years that has helped me during difficult times is to write some positive affirmations and to pin them to the bathroom mirror. So when you get up and you're brushing your teeth, you can read things like, today is a good day. Today I'm really happy. Today I expect whatever the task is today to be a positive one, and it's going to turn out in my favor. Those kinds of things. You can look for positive affirmations online and pin them to your mirror, and it really starts your day off well. Another thing you can do is to play some music. Music usually puts people in a good mood. You can dance, even if you're by yourself, you can dance. That'll help keep you in a good mood. There are so many ways to reframe the thinking, and it needs practice. It's not something that comes natural to a lot of people, but the more you do it, the more it becomes a habit, and you start thinking more along the positive lines instead of the negative lines. So if you're thinking that you have a specific task that you're going to do, don't think that the first thought that comes into your mind, well, that's not going to turn out well, because chances are it won't, if that's your mindset going into it. You can also just flip that around and say, it's going to be successful, whatever it is. I know it sounds really simple and corny, but it's just habit to think on the positive side. And we can always find something to be grateful for, and that helps put you in a positive mood also. Even if you've had a rotten day, you can always find something to be thankful for. You have a home to come to. You have a comfortable bed to sleep in. You have food on the table. You have friends. I mean, just small things like that help you go from a pessimistic attitude to a more positive one. As I'm looking back on my life and reflecting on a lot of things as I'm about to turn 80, one thing that stands out to me when I lost my husband back in 1990, it was a shock, devastating, What was I going to do? How was I going to continue to pay the bills? We didn't have any insurance. And those thoughts just keep going and going and going. But because I was an optimistic person by nature, I knew that I could get through it. I purchased a book on grief, and I started a journal. There are 5 stages of grief, for those of you who are unaware. And this book was very good at detailing the 5 stages. So when I was feeling particularly sad or angry or disappointed or whatever, I could refer to this book and know that, oh, all that is normal. So I'm not going crazy here. It is normal. And I will get through this, and tomorrow will be a better day. Was tomorrow a better day? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It depends on the loss that you're suffering at the time, or in my case. So I think you can apply that to a lot of things in life. That something unexpected has happened to you, and you don't know how to deal with it, but know in your mind you will survive, and you can overcome whatever is happening in your life. For some people, having a gratitude journal works very well for them. I kept one for a few months, and then what I was writing, you know, how I felt on a day-to-day basis, I realized I really didn't need to do that any longer. Some people, it's a lifetime project for them, and more power to you if that's what you want to do. I also knew that in order to move forward, I would have to be doing something positive, contributing somehow. And that time of my life is when I started volunteering. When you do something nice for someone else, you feel good about yourself. And that gets you over hurdles also. There's also a lot of other ways that you can reinforce positivity in your life. I made some notes, so I'm going to just refer to those. Creating positive mantras, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, where you, even if you're not putting them up on your mirror or writing them down, you can still think of them in your head, like, my life matters. I am more than my mistakes. Also, look for the positive in different situations that happen. Sometimes humor does a lot, and it can help you feel a little bit better about things that maybe didn't go so well. Be positive around other people. No one wants to hang out with someone who is constantly complaining. And if you have a friend who has this type of personality, it might be time to spend a little bit less time with them so that your day turns out to be more positive. If you're with somebody who is whining and complaining all the time, it brings you down. It's hard to maintain a positive attitude if those people around you are not. And you say, well, you know, what if I'm married to somebody who is a pessimist? Well, you know, You have to work on that and try to find ways to reframe those thoughts. It's not easy. You can do it. Limit your consumption of news. Everything we hear is bad. The world is falling apart. Honestly, I had to stop listening to the news. I used to enjoy listening to the morning programs, but not now. I don't do that. I listen to the news once a day because I want to be current. I want to know what's going on in the world. But if you are listening to all these programs all day long, you can't help but worry and feel bad. Positivity relieves stress also. Did you know that? It's hard to feel stressful if you have a positive attitude. Do things that you enjoy. It could be simple things like going for a walk, go to the library, sit in the library for half an hour, read a book, maybe chat with somebody. Go to your favorite coffee shop. Get out. And if you feel like chatting with someone, fine. Do whatever makes you feel good about yourself. Learn to accept compliments. When someone says, "You look great," that dress looks wonderful on you. Don't say, "Well, it's old, I've had it for a couple of years." A simple thank you is just sufficient. It makes the other person feel good and you feel good. Some things are just beyond your control, and there's really nothing you can do about that. Sometimes we just have to accept what is and move on. Practice self-care. As women, we tend to think about everyone else in the family first before us. What makes you happy? Go have your hair done. Have your nails done. Get a facial. And you say, "Well, that's expensive. I can't really afford that." Go for a walk outdoors. There's nothing that lifts your mood more than a walk outdoors. Create a new bedtime routine. And this can be before you go to bed or when you're in bed or however you want to do it. Think about your day and what went well in your day. What do you have today to be thankful for? And as I said before, if you've had a rotten day, you still probably had dinner. Maybe you're reading a book that you enjoy. You had a nice calming bath. You have a roof over your head, a nice bed to sleep in. There's always something to be grateful for, even the smallest things. And when things don't go quite as well as you had planned, ask yourself, well, what could I learn from this situation? How could I have made it better? Life is a learning experience every day, every week, every year. I am not an expert on optimism. I have just chosen optimism as a way of life for me. But I also recognize that there are times when you do feel pessimistic, and that is very normal. However, if you are feeling pessimistic every day for a long period of time, then that, can be a problem and will make you an unhappy person. Perhaps you have good reason to be pessimistic. But you can also find reason to be optimistic. And optimism in my view, is a choice. And gratitude is the practice. And together, they can make life brighter. What's one thing that you are grateful for today? Please share it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And look for my next episode. It's going to be a little more revealing on my part of how I suffered from anxiety and panic attacks and how I was able to overcome them. And optimism played a big role in that. Please subscribe.